solve for x, where 3 to the power of 2x equals 27 minus 6 times 3 to the power of x. Now the first thing we want to note here is that 3 to the power of 2x is really just 3 to the power of x all squared equals, you can write that as just 27 minus 6 times 3 to the power of x. And what you'll notice here is that this is like a quadratic function where 3 to the power of x can be a variable. So if we let y equals 3 to the power of x, we can rewrite this as y squared equals 27 minus 6 times 3 to the power of x is again just y. Rearranging this, so bringing these two terms to the left side, we're going to get y squared plus 6y, because we're adding plus 6y on both sides to get rid of this. And then we're going to do minus 27 on both sides as well. So minus 27 equals 0 because this cancels. So now we've got a quadratic function here. So let's factorize this. So remember, when we factorize, we want to think of two numbers that multiply to the number here times the last number here. So 1 times negative 27 is going to be negative 27. And we wanted to add to the number before y. So that adds to 6. So let's write out all our factors of negative 27. So we've got negative 1 times 27, as well as negative 27 times 1. We've also got negative 3 times 9 and 3 times negative 9. So the reason we have one positive and one negative is because, remember, if your answer is negative, that means you have to do one positive number times one negative number. Now we can see here that negative 3 plus 9 gives us 6. So these are the two numbers we're going to put inside our brackets. So this will become y minus 3 and y plus 9, and this equals 0. Now using the null factor, we know either this equals 0 or this equals 0. So that's because anything times 0 equals 0. So one of the brackets has to equal 0. So if y minus 3 equals 0, then rearranging it, we're going to get y equals 3. Or if y plus 9 equals 0, rearranging that, we're going to get y equals negative 9. Now remember, y was just 3 to the power of x. So we can say, if y equals 3 and y equals negative 9, we can now sub back 3 to the power of x back as y. So 3 to the power of x equals 3, or 3 to the power of x equals negative 9. For this one here, we know that 3 to the power of x equals 3. Well, 3 is just 3 to the power of 1. So that means x equals 1, because we can let the powers just equal each other. Now, there's no real number that you can do 3 to the power of to get a negative answer. So this doesn't have an answer. So the only answer for this question is that x equals 1. All right, thanks for watching. See you in the next video.